It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Albert Huston, who's in the building. He'll be talking about great accounting can really help your business. Let's talk about that, by the way. What's going on, Albert? How are you?
What's up, man? You know, we got to start this by saying thank you so much for having me. I like to give the disclaimer, you're over here. So when people do the eye contact thing, cameras here, you're here, notes are here. So y'all forgive me with the weird eye contact.
Spoken like a true accountant, isn't it? Just like you expect accountants to say something like that, right? This is here. This is in business, man, we don't know where everything is. That's why we depend on you guys. No, I'm joking with you. I'm joking. But I'm curious, why are entrepreneurs, might be a crazy question. Why do we have such a fear of, dealing with the accounting stuff that has to get done in the business? Now, I'm not saying everybody, because I know some of y'all are perfect. So I'm only going to be speaking to the Shea Browns of the world who did get started, who was lazy keeping receipts. I was happy just to get business coming in the door. Okay, I was like, well, I can't be making any money, by the way. And then you get to the end of the year and you're like, what? I don't. That money's not in my bank account, but I owe. So my question to you is, first, starting off, is entrepreneurs, why do we struggle with making sure that our books are in order?
So, bro, I think it's a little bit layered, right? So there are a number of factors that kind of play a role in it. Biggest factor is a lot of y'all don't like your accountants. So off top, it becomes not a comfortable conversation. It's not like somebody who you can vibe with. Just accountants don't do a great job of making people feel comfortable. That's pretty much first layer. It's on the accountant. Second layer is most people aren't really comfortable talking about finances and their weak spots and stuff like that anyways. So the first layer becomes the third layer because it's something you're already uncomfortable with, and now you're talking to a person about it who doesn't make you feel comfortable. So that's a lot of the issue because accountants can have a way of making simple things sound complex. Because bro, at the end of the day, we are like accounting nerds. We want to be here with our laptops. We're not really people, generally speaking. So I think a lot of that uncomfortability comes from the topic at hand. And then what adds to it is the people that are actually supposed to serve. And we don't have good bedside manner, generally speaking, across the industry.
Yeah, they're probably saying that. They're probably saying, well, he's here on camera. Most accounts, they're behind a steel door somewhere, by the way. You're shoving papers underneath a little hole in the wall. You don't even see these folks. But that's not you. Take a moment, if you can, and talk about, and I know it's a broad sweep, but how accounting or great accounting can really help scale the business. And the reason I say myself personally, and Beverly knows I've been with Beverly for over 10 years, wonderful person, but she knows I never like getting a call from her, because when I get a call from her, it's never good news. It's always, what is this? And I'm like, well, if I use my business Amex card, it's obviously a business expense. She always got questions. So always questions, but my question to you is, how can great accounting, in a simpler form, 1, 2, and 3, really help businesses scale and grow?
Yeah, so great accounting is really like your clear vision into your business, right? So I think a huge problem, especially with small business owners and in small business, is the water is muddy between like the type of accountants that you're working with, like right, sorry. But bookkeepers are those people who like, hey, what's this? Here's your P&L. Hey, I see this charge. Can you tell me what this was charged? Do you charge for? Here your monthly report. That's like basic bookkeeping. When you get into great accounting, like we're taking the P&Ls and we're saying, hey, based on this thing that you bought, we see that this is a expenditure that you shouldn't be doing. Or I see that you spend a lot of money in marketing. It's not really driving revenue the way it should be. Let's talk about some things that we should do. Marketing is one of the highest expenses, but accounting is typically the thing that really adds perspective to everything that's going in business. So, bro, like my clients, and they'll tell you, they love getting a call from me because what's coming from me is more answers than questions. It's more like, hey, this thing you working on, here's some more detail about some of the stuff you can be doing. So that's really like the big difference between like basic accounting people who doing what they're supposed to do, getting your reports, and people who are like using your numbers to help you make decisions. Like some of my clients, bro, we like best friends. We talk all the time. Like I actually have a client review that's like I talk to my clients and they're like, man, I hate my accountant. I hate talking to my accountant. She's like, I don't, because first off, it's a fit thing, it's a culture thing, and God just blessed me with this kind of quirky, fun personality. So people, it really like takes something as serious and high stress as accounting, and it breaks it down. But to answer
Mm.
the question a lot more directly, I think the difference between like accounting and great accounting is exactly what you mentioned. It's instead of asking you for things, it's providing you with things. Instead of asking you questions about what did you do, it's like based on what you did, here's what you need to know about that.
Hmm. And if we can, let's talk to two different folks. That's spot on. In a minute, ladies and gentlemen, we'll figure out who this guy is. I know y'all like, Shay, this guy's talking. What's his backstory? What's his background? We'll get into that in a moment. But I want to talk to two type of audience because our audience mostly are dualpreneurs, by the way. They work full-time jobs. And in their jobs, they have leadership roles, or they're an entrepreneur. And so they're dualpreneurs with a lot of responsibilities going on. So if we can, and ladies and gentlemen, he can handle it, we'll talk to two type of groups. We'll first talk to the group that's not really generating the revenue right now. And they're probably like, whoa, this is going to be an expense. I got to pay you guys every month to put it in QuickBooks. I don't know which one you use, but whatever service to make sure the stuff is together. And I got to pay a bookkeeper and an accountant. And so it seems like it could be an expense. And what would you say to that person? Like, whoa, you mean give you money and I'm not making any money? I'm just curious what your school, what your view of the world is with that. And then I want you to swing to the other side in part two, to the person who's generating cash flow. The money's coming in. They finally got a business that's generating revenue, which is pretty cool, and they're spending it. And had a question just yesterday, which again I told you I never get a call from my bookkeeper because I've been ducking. I mean, my accountant, I've been ducking the
Hey,
bookkeeper. But
y'all,
she's
we
like,
ran.
Shay, how much money are you wasting? But I hate it because I'm like, it's all a write off anyway. But that's not true. So speak to one, the person not making money, and why it's important to have that expense, and then why people on the other side should induct the bookkeepers in those meetings, because they're trying to find ways they could save money where they see there's waste and they're got memberships they're not using and a lot of other stuff that you guys find out there.
Yeah. So realistically, and I won't nerd out, but so people who are not making a lot of money fall into like two classes, right? It's people who are not making any money and people who will start making a little bit of money. And I treat
Yes.
those two groups different, even before we get to like the people who are doing it. The people who are making no money need to focus on sales. I'm very practical. If you ain't selling nothing, if nothing's going on, it's very little use for like the day to day accounting. You'll need somebody to do your taxes, but if you're not making money, it doesn't really make sense to do anything outside of focusing on making money. Now, for those people that have started making money, the benefit of accounting, like if you have small resources, like you're making a little money, so you have to be super strategic with how you use it, that's when you need that accountant, because the accountant can actually go in and help you. All right, if we got $10,000 total and we need five different things, an accountant will be that person who walks you through which of those things you could do first or should do first. Of course, if sales is the issue, if revenue is the problem, that needs to be the majority of focus, attention, and money. It needs to be going towards figuring out how to sell your thing. See, a good strategic accountant will tell you that. And any accountant, great accountant, I love that you framed it that way, Che. A great accountant is going to always pay for themselves. Where it is an expense, it's an expense that brings you back return on that investment. So it's less of an expense and more of an investment if you're doing it the right way. But if you're working with like cheaper alternatives, bookkeepers, it is just another expense. Either way, you can write it off, but you want to invest in people who are going to, like I was saying earlier, give you something for what your investment is. And then the people who are actually making money, that's where you get to like use your accounting function to scale, right? So a great accounting function is like those people who decipher your numbers and your data. I kind of hate the idea that accountants just categorize everybody books and then send them their P&L. Like, no, like at my company, our bookkeepers do the categorizations. They do all that lower work, and they send the P&Ls to the strategists. And we take the P&L and talk about what it means and opportunities and blah blah blah, and we take that to the client. So I think that's like the key difference. You want to make sure that you're partnering with somebody who's going to get you a return on investment, and whatever your goals are, they're actually just adding context and helping feed towards those goals instead of like just being another expense. Because to be real, some bookkeepers and accountants are just another expense. Some of them are, but there are good companies because even by business model, our company works because we handle bookkeeping, accounting, and CFO services. So it's not multiple expenses; it's one expense, but it's more of a function than like all of this separate stuff that you're paying for. Because
Mm.
bookkeeping alone is just an expense, right? Like it's
Mhm.
just categorizing the stuff. Like it's something that if you had the time, you could probably do it yourself. So it's more of a convenience expense. But it's the accounting that brings all of that into like ROI scope,
Yeah.
ROI scope, return on investment scope.
Mhm. I would agree 100% with you. And I will say at the end of the day, there's two major investments you should make. One, as you said, in an accountant who probably has a bookkeeper underneath them. And number two, a lawyer and someone that's been through a forensic audit before with the IRS and so forth. I get it. I'm probably the only one that's been there. I'm sure many of you never had that problem. But
Yeah.
try calling the person up that was supposed to do something and they're not be able to be found. And versus having someone that can go down to the IRS with you and sit there. If you never had that experience, I'm happy for you. By the way, I hope you never had that experience in your life. But you
Yeah.
want someone that can explain things that are going on because it can get a little hairy. Um, Before we go a little further, people want to know who in the LL Cool J this person is, right? You're talking, you're rattling on, and you're saying we're not at expense, and it's so true. So take a moment because they want to know who's speaking right now. What's your backstory, number one, and what was that defining moment that you decided that being and having the great accounting was going to be your jam?
Yeah, man. So it's a really long, detailed story. So I'll give you like the Spark Notes version, right?
Thank you.
So, because you can already see, I'll fill up this time with words. I can do that. But so I always start with my name. My name is Albert Huston Jr. I'm a CPA. I'm married. My wife is like my right hand. She's always just off camera. So I'm married, been married for 10 years, been with this woman for 15 years at this point. It'll be 16 later this month. Um, 3 kids. I've been an accountant for 12 years, been a CPA for 7 years. It's crazy how fast the years go on. And bro, I think I'm one of the only people that I've even met, a person that has a staff of accountants. I'm the only person that saw accounting and was like, oh man, this is how my brain works. Most people just kind of, a lot of people go into it because you can make good money. Some people fall into it. But me, like, it really fits how I see things. Like accounting at the end of the day is really like it works the way that it should work. Like it just makes sense. If you just think through like if you can understand the concept of this, you can pretty much understand any of it. And that's what like drew me to accounting. Now, what drew me to entrepreneurship is like those statistics, right? Like a lot of people go out of business early. Black-owned businesses go out of business quick, fast, and in a hurry. When you get your business owner friends, like the good accountants, like don't want to really serve them, don't care about serving their businesses, so they get like that treatment. I don't even have a word for it, but you know what I'm saying? It's like the take this little stuff and going on about your business treatment. And then,
Mm-hmm.
bro, I just really realized that small business owners, the people who really need the data the most, right? They don't get access to good accountants. It was like I was working in corporate, and I was like, all my friends who were starting businesses and stuff. I'm like, bro, like, why are all y'all accountants so like basic? And what I learned was a lot of people who start accounting businesses are the people who could not thrive in corporate, which is a problem. It's almost like a lot of small business owners are forced to deal with like the people who were like rejected out of corporate, the people who would have been in the same role forever. That's like kudos to them for doing something to like boost their career. but that's not good for the business owner who needs that competence. That, you know what I mean? Like, so just seeing all them problems. Less than 2% of CPAs are black. Like, I was like, bro, why don't we do something to like help fix this and make impact in the small business landscape? So that's what kind of got me over into the entrepreneurial side. Believe it or not, bro, it wasn't about money. Thank the Lord, but I'm gonna make money either way. You know what I mean? Like, based on my experience and personality and blah blah blah, I can go to corporate and demand high salary. I can be over here and people gonna like to work with me. So thank the Lord for that, right? Like, most people can't say that, so I'm good either way. But I think I'm a lot more impactful when I'm working with people who need what I bring to the table. So that's pretty much it, man.
I love it. As you was talking, that leads us to a segment we have here called "Today is my January 1st," as you were sharing your background. And for those folks who know what we're about to do every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I know you wait for this time and moment. You can go ahead and say those magical words. Today is my January 1st. I know that sounds good. Happy New Year to you, by the way. And for everyone else who's wondering what's going on, today is my January 1st is our personal mantra at the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny that past is back there, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for Albert on the other side is that when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear, number one? And number two, when was a moment? Maybe your life's been perfect. Well, there was a setback. Maybe your life's always been perfect. Maybe there's been no challenges. There was a setback. And how did you bounce back from it?
No, see, I love this. I love this. This is like a really, so this is a fresh start, right? And let me make sure I understand you correctly. We're talking about a fresh start where I could forget everything and pretty much just talk through the things that I would have done differently.
Yeah. I was just wondering what was a setback maybe you had along your journey of life and business, and then how did you bounce back to it? Or maybe your business journey has always been perfect. Maybe nothing's ever gone awry or wrong. But
Yeah.
we're always just curious about that.
Yeah, see, my brain took it where I wanted it to go. Thank you. No, I think the biggest setback. So, Right Choice started in 2019, right, when I was still kind of working full time. So, as soon as Right Choice started to get to like the phase where I was going to enter into scale, we all know what happened in 2020. So everything that I had like built and worked on up until COVID, where it was like, well, that don't matter no more. Like, we got to start over. So I think that now it ended up being a great thing, as we know, because it almost forced people who are, traditional accountants were not really that interested in changing things. So COVID it was a huge setback because it kind of broke down a year of work building the way that we would do things, the way that we would deliver the service and all of that stuff. It made us rethink and like take it more virtual. So what ended up happening was, bro, we built a firm where we could serve clients all over the United States. Like, we got a system in place where we can really like help anyone who operates under US GAAP. So the huge setback was we practically wasted a year. But I never talk about a setback without talking about the comeback. The comeback was it made us like a way bigger, more robust, more impactful firm. You already know, like, numero uno on our company, principal company goal, everything is like be impactful and do the right thing even when it don't feel like the right thing. Do the right thing when no one's watching. So I hope that kind of answered your question. Because I told you my mind went completely like to fresh start, like what would I do differently? But
It was
that was
perfect, man. That was
it.
that was spot on. It was you, but it was spot on. I love it.
Yeah.
As you was going and being so authentic and sharing the setback, you're right, 2019 was amazing, or amazing in terms of amazing upside down.
Mhm.
I'm curious, one of my favorite questions to ask when we have time, we have a few minutes here, is what's one of the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Now, imagine, ladies and gentlemen, I asked him to come off the mountaintop with the 10 Commandments or anything around here, but he's had a lot of mentors along the journey of life, I'm sure. He's read more books than he could probably remember. Who knows how many videos we watched in this modern era? I mean, I don't even keep counting the hours anymore. So my question was, if you had to share what's one of the best pieces of advice that someone shared with you, what would it be and why?
Man, to your point, yeah, I've read several books. I'm mentored by Dr. Marquell Russell. He always is somewhere giving me gems, but the one that steps out right now is from like a client slash friend of mine, Crystal Brown, and she was like, "Hire to your weakness, not your likeness." So a lot of us in small business, right? When we start building our own thing, we kind of do flock towards people who are like more similar to us. It's easier to hire those people who like help with the stuff that you're good at. Like the day-to-day people who are very similar to you, the people that you can rock with, it's easy to like see use in those people. But the thing that you should focus on hiring first are the things that you can't do yourself. So I always like think of that like, am I hiring to my weakness or my likeness? And bro, that's probably the most impactful thing. Because accountants, bro, will hire a whole firm of accountants and there's nobody to market the thing. Like no sales, super high competence, no business. Because accountants almost by nature, like just who we are typically, we butt heads with marketing. Like in
Yeah.
corporate, marketing and accounting almost hate each other because accounting is always telling marketing, no, they can't go do this thing. So when we get all power in our own businesses, you'll see across accounting firms, marketing is like one of the biggest struggles always, but not for right choice because I always think, am I hiring to my weakness or my likeness?
Yeah, no, I love that. And of course, I'm biased because I believe the number one reason most companies go out of business is lack of sales. And I think sales is the oxygen for every great business in history. Of course, as a sales guy, I'm just a little biased, but we are at the top of the profit loss statement. I don't know much about profit loss. I don't remember anything from my MBA classes, but I do remember. I'm just joking. And for those folks out there, like they go stay on going to rant about sales. It's all about sales because there's more money going out than there is coming in. I mean, I got to get off of that. I got to get off of that subject, by the way.
No.
Now, I'm curious when it comes to being able to share with entrepreneurs every single day, and you have the meetings for them to organize the books. Okay, I'm curious. Is there a preference that you have in terms of you keep everything in house yourselves, or do you have inside of your organization you have a bookkeeping group that you work with and they do bookkeeping as you said, and they pass it on to you guys to do the reviews? And do you recommend two separate entities? Like
Nah.
have an accountant over here and then you go hire a separate bookkeeper here. I'm just curious what your school of thought is.
So my school of thought really follows like the corporate school of thought, right? When you work at a corporation, everybody is in a department. You have your marketing department, you have your accounting department. Under your CFO in the company, you got your operational accounting, then you got your tax accounting. All of these people report up typically to the CFO who oversees all of it. So that's how Right Choice works. For a lot of our clients, I'm the CFO, and yeah, we have the accountants and the bookkeeper in house. For no, the best reason, or the number one reason we do that is quality control. If the CFO can control the people who are doing the prep work, the CFO can kind of control the quality of what's leaving. Because there is no strategy, and I think that's probably across the board. There is no strategy that's highly effective with like terrible low level prep work because the data you're using is not good. And just a sidebar to that, I agree with you. A lot of businesses go out of business because of sales, and it is at the top of the P&L. But bro, from my bias perspective, I think most businesses go out of business because they don't manage resources appropriately.
Yeah.
And just going right in alignment. Because if you have $10,000, bro, you, me, all of us, we know people that are stretched $10,000 to 2025, and we know people that are stretched $2,000 to what is it, 5:16 p.m. here, 5:18 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's more like resource management, right? And all like efficiency. It's just efficient to have one team overseeing a whole function. So if you have
It
somebody
makes
who
a
can,
lot of sense.
yeah, if you have people that can understand operational accounting and tax, that's just one touch point for you and your business that cuts down on a number of people you need to be talking to.
Yeah. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, he's speaking directly. He's speaking truthfully. I remember when I hit our first $1 million, I was so happy. It's like 1.1, 1.2. the accountant comes to me and tells me, and she's probably listening, Beverly, like, you owe. How can I owe? The money's all gone. And I just didn't manage the resources. I wasn't paying attention. I mean, she was doing the books every week, and they be telling me what to do. Don't worry, the next deal is around the corner, right? It's
Yeah.
always the next deal is around the
So
corner.
that's the problem with sales.
The
That's the
year,
problem
and it's
with
like
sales.
that's a bad feeling to feel like you did so much work, but yet because some things weren't done right on the back end and so forth, that you're in this tax predicament.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's the last one you want to be in. And so thank God we were able to get out of that. But, it doesn't happen for everybody. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about you, man. That's why you're here to talk about a subject that none of us want to talk about. I'll just say Shay Brown. I'm probably the only one. Probably like, Shay, you got someone that's an accountant talking about accounting? Yes, because at the end of the day, there's two people out. I promise you should hire. You hire a great accountant, and you should have a good attorney. Seriously, you will never go wrong with those two, at least to support the business as an anchor. And it will not be an expense. It'll be a huge investment. As we come down the home stretch, man, I'm curious. What do you do for fun? We're not out saving the world doing debits and credits, or credits and debits and all that wonderful stuff. What do you do for fun these days, man?
Bro, I'm a country boy from Alabama, right? So my idea of fun is like riding four wheelers. Like, matter of fact, if I had to pick one, it's gonna be going somewhere, riding a four wheeler, fixing something that's broke, building something. It's really like that old country boy stuff. And it's like, bro, who I am as a human being and who I am as a professional makes me like so well rounded that it almost people don't even believe all the stuff that like I can do. But what I do for fun is like, if you could just imagine a country boy from Alabama, yes, that's it. That's it. And like the stuff that pops up in your head. Country black boy from Alabama, I should say.
I love it, man. I love it. That is so real. Well, so come down the home stretch. A two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days, if any? I'm not sure if your firm's taking on any clients. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Thank you for that opportunity, bro. So we're currently accepting new clients in all of our packages. So we have rolled out a new three-tier section offer or offers a three-tier offer, Lauren. You're supposed to plug in at that part. Yeah, but we have starter, which is pretty much the basics for companies that are just getting started. So some of the audience that you were mentioning earlier, they may be a good fit for that bookkeeping that keeps you organized and tax management. So it's really like the basics to make sure that you're good with the banks, you're good with Uncle Sam, you're good in compliance. Then we have our growth for people that lead a little bit more strategy. Most people are fit for growth. And then we have concierge, which is you need it to feel like you have a day-to-day accounting team. So we're currently accepting clients in all three of those offers because the new three-tier thing is a little bit newer for Right Choice. So it's good. We wide open with clients. So depending on what you need, right? I always tell people to contact us based on what you need. So if you need a little bit more information, we're on social media. Instagram, I'm Albert the CPA. Facebook, we're Right Choice Accounting Solutions. I think I haven't reached my 5K limit, so you can add me as a friend on Facebook. I'm Albert C. Hurston Jr. If you kind of frequent LinkedIn streets, it's Albert C. Hurston Jr. and Right Choice Accounting Solutions. We're really just not hard to find. If you're ready to go ahead and get into the meat of what we do, is rightchoicefirm.com. It takes you right to rightchoiceaccountingsolutions.com, but that's too long. So just give yourself the cheat sheet, rightchoicefirm.com. And if you have any questions, we always like to answer anybody's questions. You can email us at info@rightchoicefirm.com. So does that cover everything? Yeah, so we're easy to find, man. Depending on what you need. Like if you want to like see if we're legit, Google us. I hate that became like disrespect, but you'll see it's plenty of people on Google telling you like, yeah, these people are legit. So really, if you want to see more content, Albert the CPA on Instagram. Um, I'm about to get a little bit more consistent on YouTube. People have been saying, bro, why aren't you doing long form? Because I'm busy, y'all. Like we got a lot of clients. We do a lot. We solve a lot of problems, right?
An accountant doing long form. That's funny. You know,
Right.
And,
I'm
and,
like, bro,
and
I'm
ladies and
busy.
gentlemen, as you can tell, behind him is his wife's probably doing all the work. By the way, he's doing all the talk, but she keeps looking to make sure because she's like, yeah, she's making sure she's directing the traffic back there. So, shout out to your wife who's behind the scenes, who's making the trains run on time. I know you get to do all the talking, but I'm sure she's the one making sure that place runs the way it should be. So, shout out to her. Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show, man. We appreciate it. Can't wait to have you back.
Yes, sir. I'll be looking forward to it, man. Anytime you need me, just let me know.
And we'll call you before tax season. Get us back on before tax season. Oh, that'd
Hey,
be
let's
cool.
do it.
With that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you. Without you watching, we have no show. So we appreciate it when you show up. Thanks for hitting the like button. That's cool, but really hit the share button. Pay this forward to another entrepreneur. Pay it forward to your community so they can make sure they have the right tax books in place so they can do the things they need to do. And I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that you are really awesome. You're incredible. I mean, you're a super amazing person with a big heart to give and a heart to serve. And that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason, no matter what's going on, your best is still yet to come. At least I believe that. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, good night. My name is Shay Brown. We out. Thanks a lot, Albert. Peace, everybody.
Thank you.